We're now at segment 3 of the introduction. Share a little bit about myself, the author and presenter. Here's my smiling face as if you can't already see it. My name's Dwight Smith. I wrote and produced this instructional course. I want to flash back to when I was 16 years old. I was going to Unionville High School out in Chester County, Pennsylvania, which is outside of Philadelphia. And that year, that summer, I worked for a landscape contractor and loved it. I learned how to build patios like this, fences. We installed a lot of plants, built all kinds of walls, everything. So it was a lot of plant installation, construction, building gardens, things like that. I was fortunate enough to work for a gentleman that knew a ton about plants, and he was very willing to share that information. I found it fascinating that somebody knew so much about their environment around themselves and the plants that were in it. And so when I was 17 the next year, my parents, I was a senior that year, and my parents said, "Hey, Dwight, what do you want for a graduation present?" So I want a rototiller. Like, what? You want a rototiller? Why do you want a rototiller? So, well, I want to start my own landscaping business. And so they bought me a rototiller just like this one. That's not a picture of me. It's just a coincidence that I was able to find a picture of the rototiller that I had bought, that was given to me as a gift. And so I did start a business. I started a landscape contracting business when I was in high school, okay, when I was a senior. So eventually that led to me having trucks, tractor, crews, and all that kind of stuff, as well as a 20-acre nursery where I grew thousands and thousands of plants, shrubs, trees, all kinds of things like that. And this is a picture of me and my son having dug up one of those trees to go install in somebody's yard. Okay? Now, eventually, after having that business for over a decade, I decided to sell it. And I did. So I sold all the plants, I sold all my equipment, the whole 9 yards, and I went into the financial services business. Specifically, a mortgage company is who I worked for. They were called, this is actually their building back then. This is Mortgage America. I'm not even sure if they're still around these days, but my point is that they had offices in lots of states, and a friend of mine ran one of their offices, and he was willing to teach me the business, so that's what I did. Now, as I was getting involved in the mortgage business and worked there for a few years, I became very interested in how numbers connected with each other and how somebody's decisions that they would make with buying a home and the mortgage that they would choose, how that interacted with how it affected their investments and things like that. So I moved on from the mortgage company, became an investment advisor, and got all the securities licenses that you need to do that, and to become a fee-based investment advisor. And I did well, got some awards. Here's a recognition that I'm getting with this lady here, Barb. And it was great. Had a wonderful time, did well, and then eventually my interest from mortgages, the numbers there, then with investments, then I got interested in how all these numbers affect business decisions. So I became an accountant. And this was a picture of myself, two of our employees. I'm saying our because this is Karen, the woman I was married to. We had a nice business. It grew quickly, and I dealt with a lot of small businesses. Our accounting firm focused on small businesses, churches, and nonprofits. So where that eventually led was to me the business that I have right now, or Stewardship Small Business Services. I write business plans for a living for entrepreneurs, and I also produce entrepreneurial instruction courses like the one you're watching right now, and I love it. Once you understand how all the numbers connect, you realize there's a lot of commonality, and we can provide a lot of education to help people plan and launch successful businesses. So that's how I got to this point, and I encourage you, take a leap, become a boss, be your own boss. It's a lot of fun. It is kind of scary. I've never jumped out of a plane, don't know that I ever will, but you do got to take a leap of faith that things are going to be okay. And you can do it all right now, right here in one day. We're going to show you the whole process. So in the next section, I'm going to make sure that you're aware of all the learning resources that come with this course so that you can use whatever benefits you the most. And it'll be segment 4 of the introduction.